Hey guys, Prangell Gaming here, and today I'm giving you my second Millwall analysis of the day, and it's actually Millwall versus Peterborough. We won this game 3-0, and I've got to say, we look like a completely changed team against Peterborough. Definitely a lot different to the side that lost to Scunthorpe. And let me just add, before we go talking about any chances and anything that actually happened in this game, Peterborough had won their last 5 visits to the Den, and one of those was actually the first game I ever saw at the Den, and obviously the first game I ever saw when I was watching Millwall. And if I can remember rightly, we did lose 1-0, so maybe not the best memory to start off of being a Millwall fan, but there's still been a lot of happy memories since then. Anyway, let's talk about some chances that happened in this game. Now, the first one actually was the Beavers' back pass. All I can say is, what was he thinking? He smashed the ball from at least 30 yards, and it wasn't even a simple pass. He chipped it over the top, and Archer cannot make any contact with his hands to that ball. And because he couldn't, he had to lean back and headed the ball over the bar. I don't know how he did it. It was a fantastic effort by Archer to save that, and he did, and it's probably one of the best saves I've ever seen in world football. And the sad thing to say is it's actually from our own defender smashing the ball back. I would like it even more if it was one of their players thinking, you know what, we can lob him, but no, it was actually one of our own defenders, which kind of ruins the moment a bit there. But he is one of the best goalkeepers that Millwall have had in a while, especially if he's making saves like that. Anyway, let's get actually into the chances that happened in the game and not just silly little passbacks. Lee Gregory did continue his unlucky streak by not putting the ball into the back of the net, as the ball came from Ferguson and it met with Beavers' head. And then it was headed on to Morison, who knocked the ball back across, and unfortunately Gregory caught it really awkwardly and blasted the ball over the bar. Chances that you would have expected Gregory to put in the back of the net. Millwall's first goal was actually a fantastic goal, as Millwall got the ball on the counter-attack, and this was actually with Ferguson. He dribbled up the pitch, he played it through to Gregory. Gregory had his shot then saved by their goalkeeper, Alnwick, and the ball actually came straight back to Gregory, who actually crossed the ball to the other side of the box, where Morison was to simply header that ball into the back of the net and make it 1-0 Millwall. There was no way that Steve Morison was going to miss it there. It was a very, very easy chance for him to put it in the back of the net, and as I said, he made it 1-0. The skipper finally scoring a goal. He doesn't get them often, but they are usually headers, and that's the first header in this game. What actually happened in the second half? Well, the main talking point to start off with was actually the fact that there was a yellow card to Colehurst of Peterborough. Now, from what I've seen, he went in two-footed from behind on Jed Wallace. It was a very, very dangerous challenge. And he's a very lucky guy, because a lot of referees could have seen red and sent him off there. But he got a yellow card and the game continued in the way it was. And I think that maybe would have ruined the game if a player had been sent off, because Peterborough had a few chances from that point. And I think if they had players sent off, then it'd be boring for Millwall, because Peterborough probably would have defended a bit more because they were losing. And then we would have attacked, and it just would have been a plain, simple, boring game where we probably would have only won it 1-0 or maybe nabbed another goal, but it wouldn't have been so impressive. But believe it or not, Millwall's next goal was again a header, and this time it was from Gregory. Ferguson again put the ball in, but this time it was from a free kick. Beavers then headed the ball across, and Gregory jumped up and expertly headed that ball into the back of the net to make it 2-0. Gregory finally ended his nightmare where he hadn't scored from many chances where he could have. And can I just add, that's his 9th goal in 8 games. He is playing fantastically at the moment, and he's definitely one of Millwall's best players. Millwall's final goal was yet again another header. I know, right? 3 headers in one game. What's happening? Millwall don't score headers very often. Morison was the player that scored, and there is a saying for this, especially in terms with the London buses. You wait so long for a London bus to come along, and then they all come along at once. Well, this is what happened in terms of headers and Millwall scoring headers. They don't happen very often, but then we score them all in one game. Anyway, let's actually talk about what happened here. Ferguson crossed the ball in, from a corner this time, and then Morison met with the cross very well, and it went straight into the back of the net. Gregory did try and stop it by poaching it himself, but that didn't happen. It was already going in, and it was 3-0, and all I can say is what a fantastic double by the skipper of Millwall Football Club, showing that he clearly can be a Millwall captain and provide great goals and great performances for the club, because sometimes he has been alright, but he hasn't been fantastic and had that cutting edge where he scored himself. Now I believe he could do it, and obviously he has. Now what about the key players in this game? Well, for Millwall, you would probably expect me to say Steve Morison. He got the double, and I usually choose the easy option of saying the player that scored the goals, but actually there was another player that caught my eye that was absolutely fantastic, and that was Ben Thompson. He rarely gets talked about too much as being one of the better players at Millwall, but he's a fantastic youngster. He won so many headers in the air, especially for his height. That is fantastic. He also made so many crucial challenges that helped us then be able to move forward, and of course he passed the ball brilliantly, created so many chances and movements. He's a brilliant attacking player, and he can still defend, which is a great side to his game as well. Now for Peterborough, I'm going to have to go with their player Taylor. Now I don't actually know whereabouts he played on the pitch, but I know he was down the wing a lot, and he was one of the only players that challenged Millwall's defence when he went forward. Now Millwall's next game is actually on Saturday against Doncaster. We are in fact away from home. Hopefully we can continue our winning run. Obviously we've won the game against Peterborough, but that's as far as it's going at the moment. But it'd be nice to continue and get a streak, so maybe we can move further up the table. We are in fact now 5th in the league. We are 1 point above Coventry. Now that being said, they do have a game in hand. Now I don't know when that game in hand is, but for now we're above them, but it may not last long considering Coventry can score a lot of goals. Anyway guys, I hope you have enjoyed this Millwall analysis video. As I said, the next game that Millwall have is against Doncaster away from home on Saturday. So like, comment, subscribe, and of course stay tuned for more Millwall analysis videos. Goodbye.